so many people have not made it in this game, not because they're not good enough, but because of the mental challenges that they face in the changing room. You know, you're sitting across from someone and the joke could be on you. And once they see that you're not coming back with something, the whole changing room starts to banter you. And some people go into their shell, and there's not any particular rules that governs the changing rooms. So it's very difficult. And I think more needs to be done. You know, like Troy just mentioned, with the youngsters, I've seen it recently, a few youngsters and also pros that are in the game and retiring, you know, spiraling into depression. It makes you think, you know what, are the governing bodies that are in control, are they doing enough? You know, is the PFA doing enough? And like I said, I can't criticize them because I know they do put things in place. And when I was going through what I was going through, you know, I had, you know, different individuals from the education or the mental health department trying to help me. But I think it kind of needs to be in your face a bit more. You understand? And I feel like in terms of governance, football is way behind. That's something I'll say openly. You know, people are allowed to get away with things that you wouldn't be able to get away with in a normal workplace, you know? And it's just the openness of things that people can say to people and they cover it as so-called banter.
Great point, Mark. I mean, myself and Troy have been doing education sessions, and Troy's been doing it for years at every level. And that's sometimes a topic of discussion that can take the whole session. It's supposed to be a segment. It could take the whole session. And myself and Chris did a session today, and we talked about England have been so close to World Cups and European Championships. But I personally believe all of these things that we've discussed is because we've missed out on talent pools from like the Asian community, the Black community, the LGBTQ plus community. We've missed out on those talent pools because of these reasons, Mark. And we've both been in the changing rooms. We know it. It happens. If you are a gay player and you are thinking, should I come out to my teammates? And you're dealt with banter every single day, you're not going to do that. So for me, all those players that we have missed out on from that talent pool, from underrepresented communities, that could have been a difference between us dictating football like the Brazilians have for years. I mean, Troy, you say
Mark, do you mind if I just pick up a point on what Mark said about banter? And I'm going to share a story. I'm not going to name the club. I don't know the players, but I'm going to share a story of young players, 18 years of age, who targeted one of their teammates because they felt that his mum was, I'm going to use their terms, so I apologize for this, assault. Okay. And they actually called her a MILF. Okay. So they told me this during a session. And I looked at the lad and I said, how does it make you feel? And I could see that he was struggling. But he got the confidence up to stand up and say to me and to his teammates, I don't like it. Now, he'd never shared that before to his teammates, and they all looked at him stunned, by the way. But the lad who was the aggressor out of the banter, you know, there's always one that leads the charge. He stood up. And when he stood up, he was about 6'5". And I must admit, I struggled a little bit because as he looked up, I was like that. And I said to him, what impact does that have on you? It's all right, and it's a bit of banter, isn't it? It's not a problem. I don't know what his problem. A teammate that he shares a changing room with. And I said, would you like it if I called your mum? I don't know your mum, but would you like it if I addressed your mum in that way? Yeah, I ain't got a problem. I ain't got a problem at all. So I did, whether it was right or wrong. So I did. Now, I went back to the young lad and I said to him, are you okay? You know, you've shared an experience. And he went, yeah, I'm all right with it. I just want it to stop. That's what he shared in his changing room. By the way, now the other lad is now not taking his eyes off me. It's almost if now, you're going to call my mum what I've called his mum. And he got quite threatening. And I said to him, but can you see the impact? Your teammate has had to live with this and actually has been empowered by someone from the outside to share that experience so that all his teammates can understand that he didn't like it. But he couldn't do it in the changing room, Mark. And I think that's what, you know, kind of what you were saying. He couldn't say it in the changing room.
And that's exactly it. And I think that's one of the problems that a lot of people don't understand. It's like when the person being bantered reacts, they almost kind of, oh my God, look at this person. Why are you getting so moody? But the honesty is, a lot of the things that you're probably saying to that person on a normal day-to-day basis, if you two are in a different environment, a different working environment, a different social environment, it would lead to a fight. But they use that, and they use that to pound on players. So talented players sometimes don't even, because of the state of mind that they're in through all that so-called banter, they don't even get to express their talents because they're crippled.
Yeah.
You understand? And it's something that we need to address.
Yeah.
It needs to be addressed. And also on the front of, like the BLM and stuff like that, it's very hard for a young Black youth to find their identity in a change room. And I know I don't want to sway off topic a bit, but it's all come down to the so-called mental health. You understand what I'm saying? Because I've seen over the years as I've become more senior in the change room, and I've started to become more observant how difficult that it is for young ethnic boys to find their place in that change room. Because for one, they're being stereotyped if they speak correctly, if they act correctly, because it's not expected. And if they act in a manner which is expected, there's a stigma surrounding that as well. Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of problems that we need to address. Like you said, the coming out and just being who you are, just being able to tell someone, what, you don't like something, just being you. It's hard to be yourself in the change room a lot of the times, because that's not the culture here, mate, if you get what I'm saying. You should accept what we're saying. You should banter back. That might not be you, and a lot of people don't see how that can affect someone's mental health. And ultimately, if you're a person that's chasing a dream and you've got the capabilities, and you don't even get to express it on the pitch because of what is being said in the change room or what is being said off the field, you're going to go through life after that moment is past, because we all know that football's a short career, and you're going to question yourself, I could have done more. And then you're going to keep asking yourself why. And then you ask yourself why, and then you finally come to an answer, oh my God, I had the ability, but I was making people get into my head space. How do you feel after that?
Listen, I'm conscious of time, I'm afraid, but I'll tell you what, you're absolutely right, Mark. And I think it's really important, actually, that we do, because banter's come up a couple of times, and I think it's really important that we don't see that football is some unique workplace, because it is a workplace with people in it that are going about their daily business. It doesn't matter how much you earn. And let's get it right. There are many more footballers that are earning much more modest sums than those in the Premier League. And you know what? Even if they're not, it doesn't mean that that should be what's happening. We have to treat them like proper workplaces and put in place the kind of the structures that enable them in that way.